Hello everyone, this is Remlays from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new edition of 40k Lore for Newcomers. For this episode, we will be taking a brief look at the Drukhari race. As always, this is but a brief overview, and certain events and such will have in-depth videos dedicated to them within the future. So without further ado, let's begin.
Clad in dusk and robed in darkness, we strike, our coming the terror of our foes.
The Drukhari, also known as the Dark Eldar, are an ancient Xenos race, who split off from their cousins the Eldari many millennia ago. Unlike the disciplined and emotionally stoic Eldari, the Drukhari are wild and sadistic, notorious for their acts of cruelty to other races. Drukhari are also known for their acts of piracy, raiding numerous worlds belonging to a variety of races, be it human, Tau or others, in order to raid and pillage. They bring scores of slaves back to their home, the dark realm of Camorra, to be bartered, tortured, slaughtered, or simply utilised in grotesque scientific experiments, or mutilated into perverse works of art. The Drukhari revel in the despair and suffering of others, for it is said amongst the other races that this act is the only thing preventing their souls from being consumed by their great enemy Slaanesh, who is known amongst their kind as She Who Thirsts.
How typical that the humans should rely upon crude technology to protect them. How fitting that we should kill them where they feel safest.
The origins of the Drukhari began a few centuries prior to the fall of the ancient Eldari Empire, in what would become known as the Age of Dark Genesis to the Drukhari. Thanks to the automation of their society, the Eldari were free to indulge in various pursuits, which over time were given over more and more to hedonistic excess. The future home of the Drukhari race, the city realm of Camorra, was established as a port within the subspace network known as the Webway, shortly before the majority of the Eldari fell under the sway of various pleasure cults that appeared within Eldari society. These pleasure cults would grow more and more degenerate in their debauchery, ranging from simple carnal pleasures and the consumption of narcotics to brutal pit fights and even the outright murder of innocents. All of these actions began to take form within the warp itself, gestating into a new and godly form. When this entity, which would become known as the Chaos God Slaanesh, was born, signalling the fall of the Eldari Empire, those who had remained within Camorra itself remained mostly unaffected. They survived while the majority of their race perished and had their souls devoured by She Who Thirsts. While the surviving Eldari had a complete cultural reform in order to steer their race towards survival as they teetered on the edge of extinction, the Drukhari never undertook such actions and still operate today as they did prior to the fall of their ancient empire, still indulging themselves in acts of pleasure and hedonistic self-indulgence. When the Drukhari realised that their empire had collapsed, a series of battles broke out as the highborn Drukhari from the old Eldari noble classes sought dominance over one another. This would continue until a slave known as Asdrubal Vecht founded the cult of the Black Heart, which would become the first and greatest of the Cabals, and united the subrealms of Camorra to follow him. To dispose of the ruling nobility of Camorra, Asdrubal Vecht sent raiders to attack the Desiderian Gulf, which in turn provoked a response from the Imperium of Man. The Imperium dispatched a company of battle brothers from the Salamanders chapter of the Adeptus Astartes aboard the strike cruiser known as the Forgehammer in response. Vecht's forces would disable the Forgehammer and transport it into the heart of Camorra itself. The ruling nobility confiscated the ship from Asdrubal Vecht, so that they and they alone could reap the spoils it contained. This was exactly what Vecht wanted, for Vecht had planned for the fact that the salamanders were able to transmit a distress signal which would be answered by more warriors of the Salamanders chapter, as well as Space Marines from the Howling Griffins and Silver Skulls chapters. The Astartes forces would devastate the ruling nobility, slaughtering the majority of them, as well as countless other Drukhari warriors, before finally escaping Camorra itself. This created a power vacuum that Asdrubal Vecht quickly and decisively filled, and since then, Vecht has maintained a stranglehold over his realm and his people, which he then named the Eledrath Ineas.
Though the artifices of evil are many, a bolter round kills just as assuredly.
Much like their cousins the Eldari, the Drukhari are humanoids with an elf-like appearance. However, the Drukhari have slowly evolved into a separate yet still closely related species with a few key physiological differences. The first difference is that the skin of a Drukhari is incredibly pallid, almost corpse-like in appearance, and their senses of sight, smell and hearing are also more sensitive compared to that of an Eldari, due in part to adapting to an environment with little to no natural light. The second difference is that thanks in part to the persistent violence within Camorra itself, the Drukhari are physically stronger and boast heightened reflexes compared to the already incredible reflexes of their cousins. But these physical enhancements have come at the expense of the Drukhari's psychic ability, which has atrophied over time due to Psykers being forbidden to utilize their powers for fear of attracting the attention of Slaanesh. While the Drukhari do sport these physiological differences, it's presumed that they retain the other biological traits that the Eldari show. Many Drukhari are not so much born, but grown. Due to the violent life of Drukhari society, as well as the losses incurred from raids, many Drukhari are grown within amniotic vats. While most of these vat-grown Drukhari are destined to work as slaves, those who prove to be skilled fighters will be conscripted into the services of a cabal, where they are known by the derogatory term half-born. Those Drukhari who are born naturally are known as true-born, and gifted with prestige and respect. They are able to climb high within the ranks of Drukhari society, often gaining positions of power as a result.
My grounds, where screens of flowers and bathe their fragrance.
Drukhari society is one that is typically free of restraint or inhibition. As such, life within the realm of Camorra is a constant battle for survival, which in turn helps train the Drukhari in the art of survival and combat simply to see the next day. This makes the average Drukhari or Cabalite the equivalent of a guardian found upon a craft world. Most non-slave Drukhari are also part of a cabal, which are effectively self-governing socio-economic paramilitary organizations, and it is the cabals who form the bulk of the Drukhari military forces. Those Drukhari who are true-born can rise high within the ranks of a cabal, from Drakon, which is effectively the rank of a regimental commander, to Hierarch, and even to Archon, which is the highest rank within a cabal. Vat-born Drukhari can never aspire to reach this level of power, settling for, at best, reaching the rank of Sybarite or squad leader. However, not all Drukhari owe allegiance to one of these cabals, and certain sects within Camorra band together to form their own self-governing organizations. These are the witch cults, the homunculi covens, and the incubi sects. Witch cults are comprised of those members of Drukhari society who crave blood and violence to a higher degree than most Cabalites. The warriors of witch cults are effective, agile and highly skilled pit fighters who fight and kill for sport for the entertainment of the other Drukhari, with each particular cult having its own arena for them to display their skills. While witches can be both male and female, the majority of witches are female, and are the only ones who will rise within the ranks of their cults, although the males of the cult are still highly prized due to being able to sire strong offspring. The Haemonculi covens are the scientists and biological engineers within Drukhari society. It is thanks to the Haemonculi that the population of Drukhari society can remain at a consistent level, for it is they who oversee the creation of the Vatborn, and can even cheat death by resurrecting corpses of the deceased, providing that the corpse is fresh, within their massive laboratory complexes. They are also notorious for their work in the art of flesh crafting, creating biomechanical monstrosities such as grotesques and Talos pain engines. The incubi sects are elite warrior mercenaries. Becoming an incubus is incredibly difficult. Aspirants are expected to learn the arts of the kill quickly and brutally with almost every kind of weapon imaginable. Those who are considered to be weak are burned alive before a statue of the Eldari god of war, Kayla Mencha Kane. Incubi are typically hired by Archons, high-ranking members within cabals, to act as bodyguards. The reason that the incubi are used as bodyguards instead of Kabbalite warriors is not only due to their incredible skill in combat, but also due to the fact that other Drukhari simply cannot be trusted. Assassinations of high-ranking members of society by their subordinates are commonplace, but when an incubi contract is purchased, they remain loyal to their employer, providing that their employer can keep them paid. Archons will also hire different types of Xenos as members of their courts for this exact reason, including the Serpentine Silith and the Parasitic Medusae. The use of psychic power is forbidden within Camorra and is punishable by death. As a result of this, Drukhari technology is manufactured in a manner akin to other races, such as humanity and the Orcs, as opposed to being grown psychically, like the Wraithbone technology of the Eldari. Unlike their cousins, the Drukhari do not wear soul stones to protect their souls from the Chaos God Slaanesh. Instead, every Drukhari can feel the Chaos God pulling at their souls, and to stave off being consumed, Drukhari are afflicted with what is known as the Thirst. The Thirst is the need to inflict grievous amounts of suffering and agony upon the souls of other races they then consume to keep Slaanesh at bay. This also has the additional benefit of physically rejuvenating a Drukhari, so that they may never die of old age as long as they consume the souls of others. This is the main reason as to why the Drukhari perform real space raids to capture slaves, to quench the Chaos God's thirst for souls. While this action is undoubtedly cruel, it is one born from the desperation of a species on the precipice of extinction. And so we come to the end of this brief overview on the Drukhari. If you like this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for more content. To those who are new to 40k, we hope you learned something. So leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.